Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right. I think I've been pretty forthright about how we're going to operate this off season when it comes to the evaluation process. And when I say that, I'm talking about evaluating myself first and foremost, the coaching staff, and the team in general. And what I'm not gonna dwell too much into 2025, but I do know this: there are things that I know I have to improve on. There's mistakes that I made that I won't replicate going to this season, and I feel really good about that. I feel really good about my growth process going to my second year as a head coach. And that's something I really thought about for a long time. When it comes to the coaching staff, the evaluation process took some time, and it meant to be that way. It was a process that I enjoyed. It was a process that needed to happen, and within that process, I really started to create a vision of how I want this coaching staff to look. And there was a number of things that came out of that. First and foremost is just how I'm going to be with the defense, and I will be the play caller when it comes to the defense. And man, the guys that I chose to be on the staff defensively, they really compliment me, and more than anything, they really compliment each other. And knowing I'm going to be the play caller on the defense, it really took me to make the decision as far as the offensive coordinator. And I really want to make sure that I had someone on that side that was highly experienced, and I was just fortunate enough to be able to hire Frank Wright, who not only has been a really good coordinator in this league, but also the head coach. And I feel really, really good about that. And the same thing with the defense. The guys on the offense are going to compliment him, and I really like the diversity within the staff that I have now. I do want to make sure that you guys know, listen, just because I'm going to be involved in these does not mean I'm not going to be the head coach of the team. I'm going to make sure I'm involved in all three phases, but I just know defensively I want to make sure that I get that part right. As far as the special teams is concerned, nothing changes there. Coach Banjo, Coach Kev, Coach Jet, they did a remarkable job last year, and they're staying in their respective spots. When it comes to the team, I think like every team, they change. And the guys that were sitting in those seats in 2025 are not going to be the same guys in 2026. And that's just part of it. But I do know this, man, I'm excited about the cap space as far as free agency is concerned. I'm excited about the draft capital that we have, and I know me and Mooj are going to do a hell of a job of trying to make sure that we bring guys on this team to fit exactly what we're going to do. So I'm excited about that process. So on that, any questions?
Why did you ultimately decide you wanted to cultivate it? And then what would you say about, like, how much different the defense will look with you fully, like, on that side?
To me, play call is my superpower, really. Doing it for 4 years in Detroit, and, man, just look at the maturation of those 4 years of how we improved every year and how I improved as a play caller. I really miss doing that, and I think it's a huge part of helping us become the team that I see us become, the team that I knew Mooj see us becoming, the team that Woody sees us becoming. So that was a huge part of that, and I don't want to second-guess that. And I will go back when I say the mistakes that I made. I'm not going to make that same mistake, and I feel like I need to do that when it comes to the team. When it comes schematically, who we're going to be, man, we have a number of guys on defense that's going to help be able to build that. And that's the fun part about being around these men is building a defense that I think that that's going to actually put the players in position to be successful. And this is not my defense. This is going to be the New York Jets defense. And everybody on that side is going to be a huge part as far as building next. So I'm excited about that.
Aaron, you said play calling was your superpower. What led to your process last year that you weren't going to be calling plays on defense and hand that over to this team?
Yeah.
What led to that process of saying, listen, I know I'm a really good play caller,
yeah,
but this year is going to be a little different?
Well, that's a good question. Being a first-time head coach and really wanting to do it the right way, I felt like the best decision for me was to allow someone else to be able to do that so I can manage the game. As the season progressed and I started getting to the end of the season, I started to feel like, I can still call and be able to manage it just as well. And again, I'll be honest with you, I miss being the play caller. I miss being able to be in the fire with those guys, being able to talk to the Mike linebacker, being able to be in the meeting room and try to put a game plan together to be successful against another team. So, like all those things came into it for me, and I'm excited about this opportunity. I'm excited about moving forward in that direction. I'm glad that you asked that. And let me preface this by saying this first. You get respected in this league by winning, and when you do that, there's certain narratives that like just really change. And I think there's a narrative about this team. I think there's a narrative about me, about our general manager, and about Woody that really needs to change. And here's how Woody operates in this situation. I have an opportunity to go in there and speak with him about my vision on how I see the coaching staff, my vision on how I see the team. And Woody's answer is always, what can I do to help you? What can I do to help you be successful? And I feel fortunate to be in a position to have an owner that operates that way. So I would really like that narrative to change, that he's involved. He's trying to force me or Mooch to do certain things. Man, he's there to support. He's always been there to support. And the only thing I can speak for is myself and my relationship with him. And it's been outstanding. So I guess to answer your question, he is not pushing me to pick coaches. He is not pushing me to operate this team a certain way. The only thing he's doing is supporting it. And I feel fortunate to have an owner like that. Say that one more time. Yeah. 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 Well, you know what? That's something that I think as an overall league that we try to do the best we can to make sure that we pick the right coaches. And there's a number of African-American coaches that I do think deserve an opportunity. And I know that they're going to get their just due, when the time is right. And, yes, that time is now also, but I do understand the fact that every team operates a little different, and they're going to pick the guy that actually fits what they want to do. And I think that's how you make decisions for the most part. That's how I pick the coaching staff. That's how we pick players. And I think for the most part, that's how each team do it. But I do know there are a number of African American coaches that deserve to be head coaches, and I'm sure they get their just due. Yep. Yeah. Very bright. Have a ton of conversations with Joe. He's a really good friend of mine. Very innovative. Obviously, I don't think the offense is going to change at all. It's just, he's the head coach now, so he's making the call. So now he understands how it is to sit in this seat, which it'd be good to have conversation with him about that also. But he's going to do a hell of a job. He's a hell of a coach. And, again, I've been with him for a number of years, and I know exactly how he operates. So I'm looking forward to the competition.
A couple more.
With Frank, he's talked over the last couple of years about how he was thinking about retiring or something.
Yeah.
What were those conversations when you decided you wanted to see him, convincing him to come coach?
Yeah. I don't know anything about those retirement conversations, but I do know that he was coaching at Stanford. And I think that's another notch in our belt. Because I do think once you go to college, there's certain things on offense that you can bring to the league that's actually coming to our league that he's going to be able to help us with. And there's a number of coaches, young coaches on this staff that's going to help him, and innovative coaches at that. Seth, for example, that's going to help him be able to expand what he's trying to do offensively. And there's a number of conversations that me and Frank had. I know exactly how we're going to operate when it comes to the offense, but I look forward to some of these young guys that we got to really put in their spiel on how they think the offense should operate also. Yep. Yep.
After 1 year at the basketball,
yeah.
So why is it going to be different this time? All the new additions you made.
Yeah, that's another good question. Here's part of the process that we had going through this whole this coaching search was, Mooch was a huge part of it. Rick Spielman was a huge part of it. And I want to get their opinions on what they thought. And every coach that was brought into this building, man, I want to make sure there was synergy between me and that coach. And I think that was one of the mistakes that I had last year is you hire a coordinator, okay, bring the guys in that you feel comfortable with. And, like, that hasn't changed, but, man, there was a lot of conversation between me and each coach to make sure there was synergy between me and that coach. So I feel very comfortable with that. I thought the process was outstanding. And, listen, I know that it took some time, and I meant it to take time so I can make sure we get the right guys. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yep.
So why did you go down the road with Wade if you were attending the fall?
To really understand how the process went, first off, we had these interviews on Zoom, and those interviews are more personal. Man, let me see the character of the coach. Let me see how we can vibe just on Zoom, and then start to bring certain guys in to have really one-on-one interviews. And during those interviews, my decision was made that I was going to be the play caller. And when I brought Wink in and told him that, man, he would still go. But then again, as I thought about the whole situation, man, Brian Duke been with me for 3 years. Man, he been through the fire with me to when, man, we were not a team that brought a lot of defensive guys early into Detroit. And he's been through the fire. He knows exactly how I want to operate. And, man, I think there's nothing more valuable than having that type of relationship with somebody. Listen, I thought Winks was going to do a really good job, but I just thought Brian Duke was the right guy for this job. Say that one more time. Yep. Yeah. Well, you're really getting out of my realm when it comes to NIL because I never have to deal with that. So, but I do know it's a real thing, and a lot of these players are taking pay cuts to really come to this league now. But I will say this: is it deserved? Probably so. Because of the amount of money they bring to the college, and even though these guys are coming in with this enormous amounts of money, I think the principle of each player doesn't change. Guys want to be coached, and they want to be coached hard, and they want to understand exactly how they're going to how you want the team to operate. So I look at it from that perspective of I don't care about what happened in college. I don't care about the NIL money. The only thing I care about is these guys want to be coached, and they want to be better. That's the only thing I focus on. A lot of conversation, and at the end of the day, your character is going to show up at some point. And I think that's why this is like outstanding, the combine, to be able to sit with these guys and have conversations with these guys, because you really figure out the love, the passion, and how they're endeared to their teammates, which is big to us, which is really what our culture is all about. And that hasn't changed, and when you get a chance to sit down with players, the character of the players will come out at some point.